So if you've been paying attention to gaming news recently, you probably came across the "oh no, a mature theme is being explored in a game, ban that shit." And to be honest, I'm not surprised. Most of the people who voiced out their disagreement and concerns look to be more ancient than the Bible, and every single one of their attempts at rationalizing their point just comes off as an outdated meme that voids back onto the good old "save the children" cop-out. Now, it is the reactions that I'm surprised about, as general media is yet to grasp that games are movies whose stories you basically dictate, but what I'm surprised about is the general view on the topic of child abuse itself, and many are like it scattered about not only games, but other forms of entertainment as well. What I mean by this is simple, whether through scrolling through comments, watching YouTube videos, or generally listening in on what other people think about this and reading the articles regarding this, I oftentimes keep hearing the sensitive adjacent to the topic of child abuse, specifically as one of the elements within the game, and I find that the choice to include it is often rationalized by the means of, oh, they're not doing it in poor taste. They're showcasing the ugly reality of a very sensitive topic. The key thing here is that sensitive part. I don't understand it. Why is it that on the general level, the most of the subjects like child abuse are considered sensitive? Putting them under this protective see no evil, hear no evil umbrella only exempts them from being thoroughly understood, which is no better than just ignoring them. To me, at the very least, the point where topics like these become sensitive is when you add a personal touch to it. That is when, for an example, you walk up to an actual victim of child abuse and incentivize him or her to share his or her own experience and story. On a general level though, considering what are potentially rather interesting topics, the sensitive zone only leaves them stragglers in infinite void of unexplored and unsaid. Child abuse, while definitely a terrible thing, is more than just a sensitive bad topic. Rather than sugarcoated by always taking the lens of the victim, games are a perfect medium to explore the psychology behind all these quote-unquote sensitive topics. Why not? I mean, movies do it, books do it, hell, even some songs do it. Yet none of these entertainment mediums come even close to what can be pulled off and achieved within a game. And what's more, it doesn't even have to be done with taste, as they say it, as long as the depiction, that is the portrayal of both the abuser and the abused as well as the circumstances surrounding them, is grounded and realistic. By using these by-the-book tired excuses and oh, it's not encouraging it but vilifying it, we're simply gating off topics that could potentially become masterpieces. No topic is a taboo, or rather it never should be. It should never be enough to say, well, his father's a drunk and that's why he beats his ass, period. All things and topics should be open to discussion, perhaps not debate, but at least discussion. Knowing that child abuse and let the triggering commences why rape, for example, is bad, doesn't explain why it's so frequent. We all know it's bad, yet here we are, part of a supposedly intellectually driven civilization, still dealing with same issues that plagued people before a compass was invented. As I've already said, unlike books or movies, games can do much more and much better in exploring these sensitive topics. It can put player in the shoes of either side or even flip between the two, align them to the perfect reflection of reality, and rather than just tell them this is bad, show them how and show them why. Perhaps I'm making too much fuss about the single adjective usage, but it's something that keeps on repeating. As a general discussion, nothing should be a sensitive topic. It removes a personal touch and it looks at the cold, hard facts. Especially so when the games are considered, as personal touch, regardless of the circumstances, is almost completely removed by the virtue of what a game is, unless a person who experienced these things personally is playing the said game. It's easy to disregard the whole thing and just say, well, there's no need to explore it because child abuse is bad by definition, and you're probably a person who abuses the children on a daily basis, so your opinion is completely invalid, but in reality it's just fear. Fear and that innate dread of awkwardness that might arise from discussing such topics. We need to discard them. Child abusers aren't innately programmed to abuse children, as neither are rapists predisposed to rape, nor are the murderers born with a murder boner from the get-go. All things, especially those connected to human psyche, are a process, string of events and, if you will, flags that lead to eventual conclusion. Ignoring that entire process, practically pretending that it doesn't even exist, and immediately jumping onto the conclusion and saying that's bad, no, bad, 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 gives us nothing but perfect content. No answers, no desire to explore and understand, no novelties, just a predisposition that something is bad and thinking about it is unnecessary. Always look at the example of religion while trying to convey my point. The reason why religion began losing the numbers at the time it did is specifically because people began looking at the world from a different perspective, and things they found and realized were often directly contradicting what was within religious scriptures. Abiding by an already preset notion and never bothering to dwell any deeper into it, labeling it a quote-unquote sensitive topic from the get-go is just a coward's way out. So yes, while these past their prime ladies and gentlemen clearly have no clue as to what the hell they're talking about, we can always expect that from them. It's not a surprise or anything new really, as even a remotely controversial game can clench butts of anyone outside gaming community, even if that quote-unquote controversy is so minor that gaming community even failed to notice it in the first place. However, we shouldn't expect to always be told everything and leave it at that. Yes, child abuse is bad, of course everyone knows that, but that's not the point. If we all know it's bad, why even bother putting it in a game or a movie or a book? Is it just to force artificial character motivation for change and growth? Because if all these sensitive topics are innately bad and everyone knows that they're innately bad, then there's no purpose in putting them inside a story besides giving a characters a reason to do something or a reason to change, or even just good old tragic backstory. So again, let's stop labeling these topics and subjects as sensitive and dehumanize any attempts at a curve-like storytelling and approach when it comes to them. They're not sensitive, they're interesting. They should be things that start a conversation, not just ended by saying, well, child abuse is bad and you're a dick for saying or even thinking anything past that point. Let's finally act like grown-ups for a change and take these sensitive topics by the balls and explore them properly. Perhaps then more light will be shed upon their continuous existence throughout the years, decades, centuries, and even millenniums. Something to think about until the next time.